everyone, it's Lini. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have yet another death battle. This one just dropped and it is Bakugo versus Reze. I don't know either one of these. I have never seen either of these animes, so we're going into this one pretty blind, which is good. We're gonna listen to what Death Battle has to say about each of the characters, make our educated guess, and see if we are right. I broke my win streak the last video I did, so I'm hoping to guess correctly today. Make sure to go show Death Battle some love, and if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get right into it.
Fight! Bakugo versus Reze.
The god of explosions versus the bomb devil.
Wait, is it a girl versus boy?
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win
It looked like a girl.
death battle.
And with a wait, is it a robot? What the heck?
Ah, Wiz, there's nothing like the smell of napalm in the morning, the rush of the shockwave, the flash of combustion. I love it when
Is that
stuff
Zoolander?
goes
Who was
boom.
that?
And no one knows that feeling better than Katsuki Bakugo.
When your name
Katsuki
literally
Bakugo.
means powerful bomb, it's no wonder he was
Powerful
born with the quirk
bomb.
explosion. It lets Bakugo create humongous kabooms from his palms.
Oh,
I can only
shoot.
dream of having hands that red.
Quirks are
birthday's
genetic
420,
superpowers
cool.
that most humans are born
Quirk
with. Bakugo
explosion.
inherited his quirk from his parents. Specifically, it was a combination of his father's combustible acid sweat and his mother's glycerin skin
Whoa,
secretion.
acid
Making
sweat?
Bakugo
What?
sweat basically like nitroglycerin. And the more he sweats,
Oh,
the
so
bigger
it's
the
a
booms.
sweat.
His parents basically made the perfect
So does that
kid.
mean if he's cold, he
Absolutely
has no
oozing
powers?
With shonen main character energy.
Bakugo felt similarly. So much so that he started bullying his childhood friend who happened to be born without a quirk.
Yeah, okay, he's
Aw.
kind of a snot-nosed turd sometimes, but come on, Wiz, the kabooms!
That's
So
really cool.
Quirks
Does he have to
are a
touch
natural
touch
biological
something?
feature of a person's body. In the same way that we don't really think about walking or breathing, Bakugo's explosions became like any other limb, especially with his rigorous training.
Bakugo quickly
Okay.
picked up on how to use his explosions to
So he had a
obliterate
lot of
anything in
training
sight,
and
block
learned how to
attacks,
use his
launch
quirk.
himself around, and quickly maneuver in midair at hypersonic speeds, which
Whoa,
requires
hypersonic
a ton
speeds?
of focus and on-the-fly calculations.
And despite getting this incredibly dangerous quirk when he was 4, he
Oh,
somehow
shoot, he
never
was 4
killed
years
himself
old?
or anyone else.
That is
we
a
know of.
dangerous
Bakugo
quirk to
was
have at
truly
a
prodigy,
4 years old.
destined for greatness.
And his only goal was to surpass Japan's numero uno superhero and his
Oh.
personal idol, All Might. In
All Might,
Bakugo's
okay,
mind,
I've
the
seen
only
this guy
person
before
who wins
somewhere.
no matter what. Absolute victory. No problem for the main character.
Except Katsuki wasn't the protagonist that he thought he was. That would be Izuku Midoriya, the
Okay.
quirkless child Bakugo bullied. In truth, he was
Oh,
threatened by
so that's
Izuku's
his
tenacity
bully.
despite being quirkless.
Really? That
I've
crybaby's the main
seen
character?
that character
well, Bakugo's
more
inferiority complex
than
would
this
only
guy,
get worse when
Bakugo.
Deku somehow landed a quirk that was just as cool, and both were accepted to the same superhero high school, UA High.
There, he would learn to
UA.
be a superhero and fully develop his ultimate moves.
Like flying through the sky faster than sound with turbo speed,
How
blinding people
the
with stun
heck?
grenade, focusing his
Stun
blasts
grenade?
into armor-piercing shots, or making a big-ass tornado of death.
The
Ooh,
howitzer impact
okay.
involves Bakugo spinning himself in midair with his explosions, building up a tremendous amount of swirling oxygen, and then igniting it all for one hell of a boom.
Hey, so
Pretty
he's not
smart when it
just
comes to strategizing
explosions.
mid-fight.
He's got a
He
lot
even
of other
developed new
things,
techniques
like
for his quirk
he's
faster
very
than
quick.
Deku did.
UA High also aided Bakugo's
Piercing-
development by
he can
preparing
pierce
him with
armor.
his iconic Grenadier bracers, gauntlets that allow him
Grenadier.
to store up his
Whoa,
sweat,
those look cool.
froze
They look
for
like
prolonged
giant
bouts,
grenades.
or to release all of it at once in a single massive blast.
He's also got his hero suit, which helps him sweat faster in order to build up stronger attacks. Or the Straight Panzer, these
okay.
badass turrets mounted to his back that store his sweat as ammo. With all of that, it wasn't
Does he
long
have any
before
weaknesses?
Bakugo made his hero debut, called the Bombshell Hero,
Bombshell
Great
Hero.
Explosion Murder God, Dynamite. Hey, I dig
Dang.
it. The more colons, the merrier.
But despite some early wins, Bakugo failed to live up to his own sky-high expectations. He had the makings of a great hero, if
Okay.
only he could get out of his own way and put the
Ooh.
team before his ego.
Especially when he was kidnapped by the League of Villains, ultimately leading Bakugo to blame himself for All Might's retirement. Something needed to change.
So he vented his frustrations in a slugfest with Deku and realized something crucial. that
What?
the kind of absolute victory that defined All Might wasn't victory for himself, but victory for everyone.
He was starting to become the prodigy
He needs to
everyone
stop
knew
thinking
he could
about
be.
just himself.
I mean, hell, even while he was unconscious, he kept analyzing the fight he was in and coming up with counters. Somehow,
Bakugo's powerful
While
enough
he
to
was
shatter Todoroki's
unconscious?
heaven-piercing ice wall, fast enough to
That
keep up with
is
villains
a
like
little bit
Shigaraki, who
crazy.
can catch light beams, and tough enough to survive, well,
being dead? Yep, you heard us.
He
Bakugo
came back?
was killed, dead as a doornail. And then a single bead of sweat floating through his bloodstream detonated and restarted his heart. If that isn't main character plot armor, I don't know what is.
Okay,
his
that's
stamina
crazy.
is perhaps the craziest thing about him. After all,
Stamina.
he is tanking the recoil of all of his explosions.
Even with the overuse of his blasts literally tearing his body apart, he kept trying to make him stronger, and eventually his quirk awakened.
Essentially, when a quirk evolves to become stronger. Now, by condensing his explosions into smaller and more powerful clusters, Bakugo could enhance all of his techniques.
Like
Okay.
the Howitzer Impact Cluster, a stunning achievement in the field of explosionology, or kaboom theory for the layman.
Powerful enough to
Kaboom
shatter the
theory.
side of a mountain, or blow apart UA itself. Judging by the school's size, we can estimate Bakugo's Howitzer Impact Cluster yielded over 300 kilotons of TNT.
Given Bakugo's
Eesh.
whole deal is explosions, it makes sense to science out what a ton of TNT actually is. It's literally the energy contained in 1,000 kilograms of trinitrotoluene.
Here are the death battle
A chemical compound
mathematicians yet
composed of
again.
hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon.
That's
I'm
the
sh-
recipe
I'm
for
pretty
kabooms.
sure they got some
Now,
scientists
imagine a
and
pile of
mathematicians
TNT
working
as big
there.
as the Empire State Building,
Goodness.
blowing up all at once. That's
Ooh.
Bakugo's Howitzer Impact Cluster.
And these explosions can launch him so fast, it's like time stands still around him.
Like when he covered a huge part of this city in a fraction of a second, almost 400 times the speed of sound.
Okay.
And that's not all. Now he can detonate his sweat remotely, and from
What?
all over his body, not just his palms.
With all of this
Remote?
crazy bullshit, Bakugo became one of the strongest heroes on Earth, enough to battle and defeat All Might's lifelong arch nemesis, All for One. Yeah, that's right, the main villain, who's the protagonist now, Deku.
Bakugo literally and figuratively surpassed his childhood idol and proved his mettle
Dang.
as a hero.
Number
Okay.
5 on the rankings and rising. Not bad, Kachan.
But more important than proving it to his friends, to All Might, or even to Deku, he proved it to himself.
Yeah, whatever. Take
Good
that,
job.
losers! Sickest quirk in the world over here! Dynamite! Dynamite! Dynamite!
All right, Bakugo.
Death, war,
Death,
famine,
war,
conquest.
famine. Okay.
Humanity has been plagued by all
Depression.
manner of ills since they first crawled out of the primordial ooze. In the world of Chainsaw Man, there is nothing to fear but fear itself.
Because fear
Ugh,
itself is
it
real.
looks
and they're
gory.
called devils.
Literally devils from hell. These monstrous beings are the
Where
living
else would
embodiments
they
of
come from?
humanity's worst nightmares, and their power is directly proportional to that fear.
So
Mm.
the chicken devil might be so weak you could keep him as a class pet, like, you know, a chicken. But what about the bat devil, or the
Ugh.
ghost devil, or the devil embodying man's fears of one of the greatest weapons it's ever created, the bomb devil?
Little is
The
known about the
Bomb
origins of the
Devil.
Bomb Devil's current host, Reze, if that even
Reze.
is her real name.
She might look cute and kawaii,
I was
but
just gonna say, she's
actually a
so
Soviet
cute. She's
assassin
so
trained
pretty.
for birth to be one of the
Oh,
deadliest
shoot.
killers on the
She's a
planet.
super soldier
Basically
from
a
the
Black
Soviet
Widow.
Union.
A cold and lonely existence for anyone, but quadruply so in a world as effed up as this.
But all Reze wanted was a safe, normal, quiet life. As
Okay.
much a fable to her as Aesop's Country Mouse.
Too bad. You are now a walking, talking explosive. Have fun.
Oh, dang. Okay, so they're
At
both.
some point, the girl known as
they're
Reze
both
was
bombs,
implanted with a fragment of
explosions.
the Bomb Devil and became a hybrid. A human possessing a devil's powers without sacrificing their humanity, transforming their
What?
body into a living weapon.
As a hybrid, Reze's strength and speed are way crazier than a normal human's. And with her martial arts training, she's a force to be reckoned with up close.
Is she
Also,
fighting
Wiz,
in her
check out
panties?
the
What's
bomb
going
for
on?
a head.
Someone like Reze would eat you
Oh,
alive.
she was so cute.
literally.
Now her head
Should
is
devils
gone and
like
replaced
Reze
by a
take
bomb.
any damage whatsoever, they can heal by consuming blood.
And that lets hybrids survive some pretty insane stuff, like having their limbs torn off, getting bisected clean in half, or being
Ew.
roasted alive. Just slurp some blood and they're good as new.
Especially
right.
useful considering the Bomb Devil's primary ability is literally blowing herself up. Reze can emit explosions from any surface of her body,
Okay.
even tearing off limbs and turning them into
No
bombs
sweat
that she
needed.
can detonate at will.
Damn, that's hardcore. She can use these blasts to jet through the sky at hypersonic speeds, maneuver and redirect herself in midair, and enhance
Cool.
the strength and speed of her blows.
Is
Or
she
Reze can
quick?
send sparks that
Is
can
she
ignite
fast?
the atmosphere in explosions that tear apart entire cities. Making herself stronger, the more fear her wanton destruction creates.
As long as the area around her is dry enough to maintain ignition, Reze can create as many explosions as she wants.
Okay, but what if it's
Non-stop.
raining?
She can even turn her own body into different types of real-world bombs to massively enhance their power.
Like
area around her
transforming
needs to
leg
be
into
dry.
a torpedo, or her apron into dynamite. Every
Wow.
single inch of Reze is a living weapon.
This made her feared across the devil world as one of their mightiest warriors, and the perfect choice to assassinate Japan's
Look how
newly
pretty she
acquired devil
was. Now
hybrid,
her head is
Chainsaw
gone.
Man.
You see, you might not
Chainsaw Man.
think chainsaws are all that scary. At least
I
not
don't like
compared to bombs.
chainsaws.
But the Chainsaw Devil is special.
Any devil the Chainsaw Devil consumes becomes deleted from reality, retroactively
Oh,
erased
dang.
from humanity's collective consciousness.
And here I thought chainsaws were for boring stuff like trees or
Chopping down
Texas
trees.
massacres. Silly me.
This ability
Texas
makes the
massacres.
Chainsaw Devil the most important being alive and invaluable for any global power to control.
Except instead of meeting the fearsome chainsaw of legend, Reze met Denji, a dumb, horny teenage boy just looking for anyone, to love.
And for once, Reze actually hesitated. Rather than immediately kill her target, she got to know him and found they weren't so different. Both were used as tools of the state, as weapons of war rather than people. A kindred spirit in a hostile
her
world,
weakness is
Denji
this
wanted
boy?
to drink up as much of the excitement of life as he could. The town mouse to her country mouse.
And thankfully, he was super easy for a pretty face to manipulate.
It wouldn't be the only time.
Reze's nothing if not professional, and she gave Denji one parting gift. To teach him the way devils did battle before he died.
As the embodiment of one of the deadliest weapons known to man, Reze's power is off the charts, capable of creating an explosion more than 400 meters in diameter. That's
Okay.
over 4 football fields long.
To have a blast that size, you'd need to be exploding with over 2 kilotons of TNT.
More than comparable
Was
to
that more
nuclear
than
weapons, which is really
Bakugo's?
impressive considering Reze is not the devil of nuclear bombs. That's apparently an entirely
So much
separate
math,
thing.
I already
Despite her
forgot.
bombs being technically conventional, they're just that strong.
Likely comparable to other powerful devils like the Gun Devil, who could travel across the world and
The
kill
Gun
millions of
Devil.
people in 5
How
minutes.
That'd be
fast?
over 500 times the speed of sound.
She's even stronger than the Typhoon Devil, a sentient city-spanning storm.
The literal coughing baby to her hydrogen bomb.
Unfortunately
Holy
for
crap.
Reze, Denji took her lessons to heart and proved he was more than a fitting host for the Chainsaw Devil.
He whooped her ass, but
Oh.
spared her life. Just in case her seduction wasn't a total act after all.
But it wasn't meant to be. Whether Reze chose the safe life of the country mouse or the exciting life of the town mouse, there are hungry cats everywhere.
Oh,
Oh,
Makima, what I would give to find someone to kill you.
Reze's dreams of freedom were never realized. She simply changed hands from one cold, unfeeling entity to another. And this time, there was no escape. She was a weapon, a symbol of man's bottomless capacity for malice and self-destruction.
I'm not sure
living
who I'm
bomb.
leaning towards right now. Okay.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
They're so
It's
similar,
time
but
for a
I
death
think I'm gonna go with Bakugo.
battle!
I don't know. I don't know, but I'm gonna stick to it. That's my guess. There's gonna be so much explosions happening. Ooh, look at how it's pixely. I love that.
I've been sent to collect your head, Dynamite.
Better villains than you have tried, lady. You tell your bosses that after I send you back in a coffin!
Okay.
How would I tell them that if I was
I just
already
know
dead?
one of her things is it needs to be dry around for her explosions to happen. So maybe if it rains, because it's kind of looking cloudy. And then he needs sweat in his suit, right? Oh, where'd her head go?
Oh, damn! Oh, damn!
Oh, look, we got water. is she fighting without a head? How is she seeing right now? Oh? She's squeezing him with her thighs. Dang. Look, water. I knew it was gonna come in. So she couldn't do anything there because it's too wet, too moist in the air.
Move it or lose it, people!
That's a weakness.
Let go of me!
Wait, was that her? Oh shoot. She had it around her neck like a collar. Here comes her apron that she's gonna turn into a bunch of missiles. Oh, look at her leg. Oh, there's her explosion. I feel like his is bigger though. That was a lot of TNT in the Empire State Building.
You bit off a bit more than you could chew.
And then he literally revived himself from one little thing of sweat. Yeah. I called her a dumbass.
I'm aiming for absolute victory. Howitzer, impact, cluster.
All she looks like is a head and a torso at this point. Oh, and then just a head. Smash it. Wow, beautiful. Look at that fireworks show. Did he win?
Scratch that.
Did he win?
Not enough for a coffin.
Is that it? Yay! We guessed
Denji, we're
right.
so sorry to hear about your girlfriend that passed away. She gets
We're
five
not.
big boobs. Boom!
Big boobs or big
Please
boobs?
just shut up. On the surface, these two seemed evenly matched. So let's break this fight
They
down
did,
into three categories.
but
Their speed,
I feel
their
like I did
stamina,
good
and their
listening to their
firepower.
like
First up,
weaknesses
let's
this
talk
time.
Speed.
Both Bakugo and Reze could rocket through the sky at hypersonic speeds and maneuver and redirect themselves on a dime in the middle of fights.
Both
to the
very
casual
quick.
observer, at least, they seem to be on par with each other.
So
But
we
I
have
think-
to look at the people they've fought to compare.
Yes.
Reze has battled Chainsaw Man, who could match and defeat someone using the Gun Devil's power.
The same gun devil that could literally fly around the world, killing millions of people at over
In just-
500 times the speed of sound.
In just
Impressive,
seconds.
but compare that to Bakugo fighting Shigaraki, who could react fast enough to catch light beams with his bare hands.
That's
Damn.
over 1,000 times faster.
Okay.
And that was before Bakugo's quirk awakening that made him even faster
Even
than
faster.
that.
With reaction speed of that caliber, there's little chance Reze could ever get the drop on Bakugo, and would likely be forced to play catch-up in a duel. Speed goes to Bakugo.
However,
Bakugo
speed
got
doesn't
speed.
matter if one couldn't truly hurt the other. A big part of this fight is their stamina.
Bakugo's durability
Stamina,
is mind-boggling.
okay.
He's survived being impaled through the torso and has even brought himself back to life.
But
From one
unlike
drop of
Reze,
sweat.
his stamina does eventually hit a limit. Every explosion he makes whittles him down just a little bit more
Okay.
and uses up more and more of his sweat. Without a break, he can eventually run out.
And Reze
Whereas
doesn't have that
Reze
issue.
can effectively create bombs without respite and from a distance.
Unlike
Yes.
Bakugo, who usually likes to get up close and personal.
Furthermore, her devil hybrid physiology gives her an actual regenerative healing factor, allowing her to shrug off the
She's
same
just
kind
a
of mortal
weapon.
blows that would eventually kill Bakugo, main character plot armor or not.
If this ever became a war of attrition, Reze had it in the bag.
She got stamina.
Stamina goes to Reze.
Okay.
However, it's unlikely it would ever get to that point. The biggest factor in this fight was always going to be their raw firepower.
Firepower.
Explosions! First, we gotta compare their two biggest blasts. Reze's nuclear-like bomb against Denji
Yes.
versus Bakugo's howitzer impact cluster.
And the difference is obvious. Based on calculating their sizes, Bakugo's 300 kiloton explosion was over
Yeah.
100 times more powerful than Reze's 2
Okay.
kiloton blast.
There was
But
so
that's
much
not
math, I
all.
couldn't remember the
Remember the
numbers, but I
Typhoon
had a
Devil.
feeling his
Coffee
was
baby or not, to create a storm
much
big enough to cover Tokyo's
bigger.
over 2,000 square kilometers, he'd have to be generating more than 400 kilotons of TNT.
Greater than Bakugo, right? But that's not all. Again, Bakugo's howitzer impact once shattered the size of this big-ass mountain. And despite being earlier on in the series, it was ginormous. Almost 3 kilometers in radius.
Or just over 2 megatons of TNT.
Holy
5
crap.
times more powerful than the Typhoon Devil, and way beyond anything we've seen Reze do.
And this
Blew
was
her
Bakugo
out the
before
water.
reaching his full power in his fight against All for One. Bakugo takes the final edge in explosions.
And remember, Bakugo withstands the recoil of all his blasts. So even though Reze had greater stamina, Bakugo was more than tough enough to hang on and get his kill shot, especially with his superior speed.
And devil healing factors can be overtaxed with enough damage. Hell, she needed to drink blood a couple times against Denji just to keep fighting.
Against someone as fast and powerful as Bakugo, she would not get the chance to heal consistently, or perhaps at all.
And what happens when devils die? They Bakugo to hell.
The winner is Katsuki Bakugo.
Bombshell, hero, great explosion, murder, god, dynamite.
Okay, we guessed correctly. Bakugo won. He beat Reze. I'm so excited that I guessed right. I really went into this like not knowing a single thing about either one, but after listening to what Death Battle had to say, I guessed correctly. So let's make sure to go show Death Battle some love. And if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, comment down below which Death Battle you guys want me to react to next. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.